the Constitutional Court in Braamfontein is today hearing the Competition Commission's appeal in the Rand manipulation case. In fact, it's day 2 of the litigation. Last year, the Competition Appeal Court dismissed the case against some of the 28 institutions who are accused of conspiring to manipulate the local currency against the US dollar. SABC News senior reporter Liabo Setho is watching developments for us from Braamfontein and joins us now live. And Liabo, today, some of these banks had an opportunity to respond to these claims.
Good morning, Ayanda. Yes, so we've actually just, the proceedings have just gone back inside, and there was a brief adjournment, a brief break, if you would want to call it that. And yes, some of the banks, like the Bank of America, and as well as the ANZ representing Australia and New Zealand group, they have made submissions since yesterday. And this morning, the Bank of America had engaged with a Q&A with the panel of judges, and mainly arguing for the lack of jurisdiction that the Competition Commission has, and that the appeal should still be upheld by the Competition's Appeals Court. And just before we break, we heard from the 5th respondent, which is ANZ, Australia and New Zealand, and they basically also saying that the case against them should be completely scrapped, that they've demonstrated it enough, that there isn't sufficient evidence, simply because some of the workers that are cited in the papers of the Competition Commission, one was not even working for the bank at the said time, and the other was not in the chat room, but simply there were copy and paste happening. But that is still continuing, where we're expecting the Q&A to take place between the panel of judges as well as the legal representative of respondent number 5, which is ANZ. But I've asked the Competition Commission to join me this morning just to get their overview of how proceedings are going. And just yesterday, remember, they are the ones that started this process, and also represented by Advocate Toby, had made their submission to the Constitutional Court. And Mr. Mahale Muhlala from the Competition Commission is joining me. Thank you so much, Mr. Muhlala, for your time. Your overview of how proceedings are going currently, and since yesterday, what has been said, are you satisfied with how everything is moving?
Yes, good morning. Yes, so far I think the proceedings are going very well. We made our case yesterday, and today the banks have started making their case. We are on bank number 2 of the 15 that still have to make their case in between today and Friday. So basically, our case is that the competition authorities, in particular the Competition Commission and the Competition Tribunal, have jurisdiction to prosecute traders that manipulated the South African rand. It's the case we've made before the court. We made it very clear that other jurisdictions, the Americans, have prosecuted traders for manipulating the dollar. The British have done the same for manipulating the pound, so as the Europeans for the euro, and lately the Australian for the Australian dollar. So the South African rand, no one has prosecuted anybody for the manipulation of the South African rand, and the South African Competition Commission and Tribunal are the only authority vested with responsibility of prosecuting such kind of conduct. So if you say we don't have jurisdiction, who will prosecute colluders that have manipulated the rand?
On the minds of many South Africans this morning, when they've seen the headlines about that particular case, a lot of people want to know the amount of damage that has been done economically. Of course, it may be difficult to quantify, but perhaps you could give our viewers who will have an idea at the end of this about just how serious this is and why we got here in the first place.
Look, it is difficult to quantify. But the part of the reason we want to prosecute this case is that we want all those details about the amount of damage the manipulations have caused to come out during trial. So those details we're going to get. Once the ConCourt rule in our favor that we have jurisdiction, we're going to prosecute this matter. And during the prosecution, details about to what extent has the damage been made to the South African economy as a result of this manipulation. Those details will come out during trial.
Mr. Mhlala, thank you. I know you have to rush inside so that you're not late with the proceedings. Thank you so much for your time. Mr. Mhlala is with the Competition Commission, and proceedings have just started once again, where we're going to rush off there. And I assume that now there'll be the question and answer between the panel of judges as well as the fifth respondent's legal representative of ANZ. And I'm sure our viewers would want to switch on to that and listen for themselves.